Peace YouTube, this is FleurBrun coming to you today with a new topic of discussion. Check on in. Hopefully you can hear me. I think I'm going to have to put my other headphone on. Usually when I'm in the car you can't hear me. I think you can hear me now. Just testing, just making sure. I don't like to keep both in my ear because I like to be able to hear. So testing, making sure that you guys can hear me. Peace to the east, the west, the north, and the south. Just let me know if you can hear me because I'm wearing the headphones. So hopefully, I hope you can hear me. Can you put a 13 if you can hear me? Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. You know I don't like putting stuff in my ear, but I do it for you guys because you always hear like the stargates, the vortexes around me. I love it. So check on in. Aw, thank you, Terry. All is well. All is good in the hood. Just put a handy dandy like as you come in to the feed, please. So anyway, let's jump into the topic of discussion. So, hey Essence, oh you joined us? Hey Seven Queen, Grand Rising. I got my coffee. Yes, I do. I'm gonna slow down. See, I got my coffee. Ah, c'est bon. Okay, wait. I shouldn't do this. I do it. Let me give a sip for the haters because they come in right away and they put a nice handy dandy. Let me put a sip for the haters. Anyway, so let's jump right into the topic of discussion. We're going to talk about the celebrity exodus through the jump rooms and how it's the clearing has begun. So I've gotten intel. Well, I had it from before. Coffee porn. Is there like an ASMR where they like do coffee? Imagine you guys got me into that ASMR. Remember you guys were sending me these weird videos. They like shake ice and whatnot. It's so weird. I think it's perverted. I guess maybe it's like is ASMR like sexual? I don't know if is that what it's for? Did you guys ever see, some of you send me like the weirdest ET ones when they're eating like extraterrestrials. Is it like that? I don't know. Or some? I don't know. Because some of y'all got me started on that. It's sexual? Okay, I finished. It was fetishy, right? So weird. I was like, I thought they were sick. I was like, they're eating extraterrestrials. It was weird. Hey, Susan. Anyway, so let's jump into the conversation. So, the celebrities are starting to leave in the droves. They are starting to jump ship, okay? And some of them are leaving through vortex. Now, what I know, there's a couple of things. So we'll go into the jump rooms and mostly Willy Wonka officials. Got to be careful with my words. Willy Wonka officials. Most of your Willy Wonka League of Doom, they have left. I know Putnam. This is my intel, my opinion. Putnam's some of his congressional cronies that stepped down, they already left. So they're already starting to bounce. Now, also, we'll get into this. I don't want to jump in because sometimes, I want to lead you in, kind of pull you into the conversation a little bit so we have a little bit of time. So there is a lot of, yes, I agree with you, Jamel. And I can't talk about that publicly because he comes from the same arena as I do, and it would be disrespectful. So I've only talked about that on Patreon because I have to be careful with that. He's in my arena. His people are around my people, and I have to be respectful because even though we know our things, sometimes because I walk in a world with some of the wives and so on, I have to be careful with that. So I could talk about other people, but he isn't one I can talk about publicly, like on such a broad spectrum. But y'all know what time it is. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get into the Willy Wonka officials that have been have been using jump rooms and talking about the mass exodus of the celebrities as they are making their way out of United States of America and Europe and entering into their safe zones, which are a lot of it's in Africa. A lot of the safe zones are in Africa and also in Brazil and in Argentina. And I think in Chile or Paraguay. Okay, so Hold on. Let me take another sip for the haters. Um, So a lot of them been doing that. So when people question said, "Oh, FleurBrun, your information is so untrue," I want you to know that this is absolutely 1000%. Why is because if you even some of you at the bank, some of you are getting prompted at the bank asking you, which they didn't do before, are you a dual citizenship? Okay. Have you guys been getting to Greece too? Okay. So they're doing it in Greece too. Do you have dual citizenship? That is the number one question that a lot of people are getting when they go to the bank or when they go into their unions, credit unions. So they're starting to ask them why they wouldn't ask that unless there's a huge amount of people doing it. And you say to yourself, well, why isn't anyone talking about it? Well, that's why we're talking about it, because I know it and I've known about it for years. And when people are saying that that's untrue, I'm letting you know it is. So we're going to get into the mass exodus of the celebrities leaving. And also we're getting into the Willy Wonka League of Doom, especially in Putnam's neck. I know Putnam's neck of the woods. I heard that they've already left. His party, the ones that stepped down, I already heard that they left already and they already made their exodus out the jump rooms. Now, what I know to be, and some of you can correct me on this, because I think I have two major intellists. They stay in the bushes on this channel, but they're amazing. Big up to my intellists. Two major intellists that really give me information that's really, really credible. So as far as I know, all of Chinois' neck of the woods, all in that area except Siberia. Siberia is the safe zone, but there's all the Nazis there. So remember, Siberia is really, really safe. I know Greenland is going to be safe. And then obviously on the other side of Africa, mostly on is that the west side? I think is it West Africa? I don't know. Hey, Ann Golden. No, no one's leaving. No, we're just talking about them first. When it's time for you to dip, you'll know when to dip. But no, not yet. Thank you for the donation, my love. Okay, so let's see. Some of this, okay, so I'll tell you where I know they've gone. They might have gone to other places, but my intel is, I know from people I know who already dipped. Remember from years ago, they were telling, listen, I rock with some amazing people. I do. And they're so sweet to me and they're good to me. And they wanted me to leave a long time ago. They did. So I've already set myself up for later. But a lot of them have left. And Greenland, I know, is supposedly safe. Australia is going to be used as an AI city. Big up to my Australians. I can't stay long because I have to go get a wax. Listen, I was trying to be a woolly mammoth for y'all. Wait. I was trying to be a woolly mammoth because I'm on this new thing trying to keep all the hair on my body. But I was like, listen, I know I'm gonna look like an indigenous when we hit pole shift. But for now, I'm just gonna clean up my Terry said wax that behind. I'm gonna wax my eyebrows. I do that. I do that. I was gonna be a woolly mammoth for the apocalypse. But then I started seeing my eyebrow. I was like, wait a second. I'm not ready. I need to be appropriate. Anyway, you'll still like me? I hope so. I'm growing dreads for the apocalypse and all that. Anyway, so let me stop making jokes. So anyway, a lot of them have dipped out. So let's talk about the celebrities first, and then we'll go into Willy Wonka's League of Doom. Okay, so there's a lot of celebrities that are dipping out right now. They will do false narratives, fake deaths, all kinds of like fake tragedies to be able to leave without causing, us to see it in a certain way. So you're going to probably see a lot of pseudo people passing away or having tragedies or whatever they have. I'm just saying not all, because remember, there's some contracts that have to be, rescinded, but, or satisfied. There has to be contracts. Remember, a lot of these celebrities take blood oaths. You know this, right? They take blood oaths where they make agreements to sell basically their soul for wealth and privilege and celebrity. Okay, so many of them sign that. They don't know sometimes, which is quite tragic. I think it's very sad, and I've known people in that life, and it's very sad because they don't think it's real. See, we know a lot of y'all from the occult sect, y'all, a lot of y'all you guys are metaphysically sound. So you already know about that life. We've already seen the other side. We've seen incarnates and spirits and entities. So we know that exists. But just imagine young people who aren't very savvy or spiritual jumping in, getting this opportunity to have fame and fortune. That's very alluring. And that's why I say it's really sad, because a lot of them don't intend to do the type of darkness they do. Now, Cardi B is a whole nother entity. I don't know what dirt she did. I don't know if she sacrificed a baby right off the bat, because she jumped up too quick. That means her sacrifice was huge. She did something diabolical. Like, she was like, I don't give a crap. I know she did. Because she was scared too easily. Because when she did it, when she got in, she was scared for her family. If you remember Cardi B making videos talking about she's frightened for her family, she was trying to get her mom and dad out of here. That means she had done something so dark and had seen too much that she was trying to jump ship. She was trying to get her family to safety. She did that. So she did something big, though. And that's why she jumped up, because she isn't talented. Anybody can make a rap song with amazing beats. I mean, I'm not a fan of Nicki Minaj because I don't think she's a good role model. But I tell you, Nicki Minaj's talent supersedes hers by 1,000%. We're talking about, we're talking about urban lyricism. We're talking about people who have the verbal capability of building, urban poetry and, haikuing it, flipping it, having a mindset, having the intelligence. Because it takes, what people don't realize, people have, she's disgusting. Yeah, she's talented, but she's disgusting. You have to have a certain intellect to be a certain intellectual capability to be able to finagle your words and build and field concepts and match them. Like, it's the most talented thing. It's another form of intellect that comes from the urban community. I'm from that life. So remember, it was from the Bronx. Big up to all my Bronx, my borough people. And remember, what you don't realize is the most of the hip hop that came from the Bronx came from Caribbean Americans. So it started with a lot of Caribbean Americans in urban society, and it came from a heightened amount of intelligence, being able to disseminate music and to express themselves and really build a whole concept of camaraderie and righteousness. I mean, it isn't what it is today. People are getting high on drugs, doing mollies. You see, Lil Wayne looks like something that flushed out of a toilet. It's very sad. He looks like it looks like someone flushed him, someone took something out of a toilet and exposed it to the world. That little boy was a cute little boy. He was an adorable little boy. And once he was kissing Birdman and doing all those rituals and drinking wine and spirit, he was drinking all kinds of things. He looks like something that I wouldn't even let my animal near him. He looks like he's got infections. He looks like he's got the raccoon virus. He looks like he's walked around with it for like 20 years. It's not a joke. Did you see that young man? It's absolutely, it's coded. Wayne's new album, Funeral. Woo! He's got an album named Funeral. He needs to watch it. He's another Biggie Smalls. He start making predictive programming now. Come on now. Lean and syrup. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm being a little judgmental. Let me pull back. I apologize. So anyway, so you have them dipping out. You have a lot of, he said that black cracked. We call them street urchins. I don't know if y'all, I'm from Generation X. We call those street urchins. Like those are the ones that your parents told you that you should stay away from in high school. And you listened because there was nothing appealing about them. They smelled like death. Okay. So you got the celebrities dipping out. So let's talk about the ones who are leaving, them doing their exodus. So we have people like we've notably, right in the public eye, you saw that Ludacris had married his wife in Africa. They had already bought land. I think it's actually a beautiful thing. When I saw Ludacris and his beautiful African wife, oh, she's gorgeous. You seen her? She's stunning, beautiful. Where's she from? What is it? Gambia? Where's the place? Do you guys know where it is in Gambia? Is it Gambia? She's lovely. So stunning. Oh, she's from there? Yeah, she's Gabon. Oh, she's so lovely. Very pretty young lady. So they're setting up shop there. And there's a host of other celebrities that have already procured land. Now, family, we've got to be careful because remember, we have to go back. Past behavior is a good indication of future behavior. And if you remember, Oprah Winfrey had set up schools in South Africa. Do you guys remember when she first set up the school? When was the school set up? I think this was how long? Wait, it's 2000, I think. Is it 18 years already? I think it's 18 years already. Please put a handy dandy like on the videos if you like it. Thank you, Terry. Please if you like the conversation and because we have 480. Yes, we have 480. Please put a like on a video if you want me to continue this interesting and at least intriguing conversation. So I think she opened her school like 18 years ago, right? I think so. Serena set up a school in Africa too. Okay, family. Little John did too. Listen, family, there must be a tax break going on in Africa. They must have got a tax break. I didn't even know they had set up schools. Okay, so now this takes it to a whole nother level, okay? So wife Rita, citizenship in Greece. Watch out. Wait, Tom Hanks and his wife have dual citizenship in Greece? Okay. So so did Snoop. Where have I been? How come I've not been on this? Oh, wait, hold on. No, I know Ghana has been offering free citizenship, and I don't know what goes along with that. I think Ghana is very beautiful, but I want you to really find out what's going on in Ghana. So if you are deciding to do that yourself, just make sure, because a lot of people from here, if you haven't traveled, Little John has a second school in Ghana. Oh, okay. So family, I guess I didn't even know those things that I was making a video. So, all right. So they've set up shop. A lot of them have set up shop. And I think for some reason, they've done it to get some sort of cushion. Maybe if they set up schools there, maybe they have some sort of reprieve. It could be a tax break. We don't know if the country has made an agreement. If you set up schools here, will allow you to live here without, some sort of, without limitation of citizenship. I can just imagine why, because that's a little odd that they're setting up shop. Because my thing is, listen, family, when you think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, why is it that y'all are from the United Snakes of America? And wait, hold on. And Golden said Oprah did spell to stop twinning. They call it debt. Oh, wow. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Why is it that we have tons of young brown folk in the United Snakes of America? And we have a strong requirement for our young people here. Remember I said to you, if these celebrities, quote unquote, these celebrities so love especially brown celebrities, if you so love your brown people and you say they're so in need, why is it that you haven't set up schools here? Only people I know who did it was, I have to give them credit though. Only one who did it, they closed their school down was Will and Jada Pickett. Will Smith and Jada Pickett. They were the only ones I know that set it up in California. Am I correct? They were the only ones. Here, did LeBron set up a school here? LeBron did it here? Oh, he did. He did one here? Where's the school? Okay. Wait a second. Hold on. Hold on. Ohio? Okay, Ohio. Pete, I don't know if Sean did it in New York. I never heard of that in Cleveland. Okay, so let me retract that statement. Please put a handy dandy like on a video as you step in the room, to let YouTube know that this is to stay up, because yesterday's video is staying up still. So when you put a like on a video, it just allows the video to stay up longer. At least I think that. I don't know if it's true. I just think that the more, because I notice that the more likes I get on the video, the more they'll leave my videos alone, because they see a lot of people witnessing it. Like, they'll let it be. So if you're in the room and you can just click the like, I'd appreciate it. Oh, it's in Harlem? Sissy Diddy had a school in Harlem? That's pretty good. A charter school. Okay, so I'm wrong. All right, this is good. Okay. So, all right. So there are schools, I've never heard of them. And you telling me that Omar Johnson can't get a school up? I'm throwing shade. Oh, Sissy Diddy. Oh, I just got that. It went over my head. You said Sissy Diddy. You said Sissy Diddy. I can't. Sean Combs. Remember, FleurBrun went to school with Sean Combs. Okay, so many of you know I'm from Mount Vernon, New York. Big up to my Mount Vernon brethren. I went to school with Sean Combs. My neighbor was, Denzel Washington's mother. You know, I grew up in a very beautiful place. Mount Vernon, New York was absolutely amazing. My mother was a teacher there. I love growing up in Mount Vernon. I had so many amazing experiences there. A lot of very educated, smart, talented people came out of Mount Vernon. So, okay, so you guys are giving me names. You guys are putting me up on stuff. Maybe FleurBrun's a little limited as far as I only go to who I know. Now 914 is in the house. Okay, so let me take some of this back, because obviously I love that you're on here and you're sharing things that I wasn't aware of. So let me retract some statements that a lot of the celebrities are not building schools here, brown schools. I hadn't heard that there were schools in Harlem, which I think is commendable. If they're opening schools, I love it, because I feel like if you have resources like that and you come from these regions, like if I had the resources, I would open a really good school in like Westchester County for young women. I would do it. If I had the resources, that's why I'm doing the sanctuary, to allow families, mothers and their children to live there. And, mothers to give birth naturally. That's why I'm opening up my sanctuary. But if I had the funding to do it in New York, I would definitely do it in Westchester County and let that be open to mothers, to young women, like to allow them to thrive, and young boys too. I'm not saying but I think I would love that. I would totally love that. But I'm grateful to hear that they've been doing this. I love to hear this. And I hope that's a successful endeavor until the pole shift, because everything's going to collapse. Anyway, so let's get back into conversation. So we have celebrities jumping ship. They are opening schools, obviously, so a lot of them in Africa. Akon is from Africa, so I don't really mind that he does that. Isn't he African? So it's not so much. And also, it's disgusting. Oh, this is sidebar news, but I'm disgusted. The Chinois were documented and kicked out of Africa. I think this was in Kenya. Was it in Kenya? I just heard it on Dr. Mombi's show. I'm disgusted. How do you allow Africa? Let me talk to Africa right now, because I'm really disgusted by the continent is huge. So maybe I should talk about certain parts of Africa. It's disgusting. Did you hear the Chinois beat a man for being late, a Nigerian man for being late to work, caned him, and they were illegal. So they're illegal in Africa, and they have the audacity to beat a brown man, a native Nigerian, beat him for being late to work because they thought it was appropriate. Now they're being charged, and they're being kicked out. And I hope they send them to Wuhan. Send them to Wuhan so that they can experience things like that. You don't go to someone. See, this is the thing. We have to, this is why I am totally against for Africa taking on other nations' people. This is the problem I have with that. I am against it, because colonization allows people to come to another nation and abuse the very native people there. I really am against it. Look what they did to the native indigenous here. Look what happened to the Hopi and the Cherokee and the Blackfoot and the Chickasaw, and all the nations here. Look what happened to them for allowing these others that are savages. Remember, I don't care who's celebrating Thanksgiving. They only poor people go and leave their countries. If you're successful in your own country, you won't want to leave. Let's state this. Only criminals jump ship. Okay, so we're going to go into that. That's why a lot of these other beings, only criminals jump ship. So these people coming out of, they're calling them, oh, pilgrims. No, those weren't pilgrims. Those were saprophytes. Those were parasites. They came here, took the information from the indigenous and then set them up. And y'all want to celebrate them? Those are like savages. The very savages they said that they were for being naked and free and being cohesive with nature. They came and gave them smallpox. Anyway, I'm going hostile. I'm sorry. I saw that this morning and I was very disgusted. Africa, stop letting people into your country. Stop being sold for fiat. Fiat won't even have anything. The Chinois are paying you all this money for their archaic technology that isn't even functional in their country to bring it to you, a bootleg train. So you can let people beat your people with canes and they think it's okay because they see you as lesser. Stop letting people in your nation. This would all stop because Africa is the most resourceful continent on this planet and everybody wants to rape it, but then they want to mistreat the people who live there. It's very disgusting. Go and hunt their lions for $50,000. You know that, right? They go to Africa and hunt lions for $50,000 and giraffes. Why do you want to kill a giraffe and then take pictures with it? Savages. Anyway. Okay, let me pull back. I'm very upset. I get very compassionate. I'm very passionate about, I'm just very upset. Hold on. I didn't mean to go on a tangent. It's very disgusting. I saw that video. I was like, it's just disgusting. Anyway, that's karma. I have to pull back because I remember Jewel Prickman said, sometimes we see from the angle of what we aren't seeing karmically. And I have to know that there aren't any victims here. I'm sorry. So, okay. So anyway, we have them, celebrities leaving and they are leaving in the droves. And and right now what's happening is that we are starting to see Willy Wonka officials starting to use their jump rooms. Now, from my intel, Putin's people had already used their jump rooms. They're leaving. I'm wondering if the Chinois president, why he dips out every once in a while. I think he's starting to move all his stuff to Mars. They're all leaving. They aren't going to be here. They're setting up shop because even the Chinois president was disappearing. He was dipping out every once in a while. He only shows up once in a blue. He isn't even here. He's allowing his people to be assassinated. And that's another thing. I'm going off town. I won't watch any more videos. Did you see that young lady get pulled out of a car in Chinois' neck of the woods? Did you see her get pulled? Young lady, she could be any one of our daughters. She's like a young teenage girl. Did you see that garbage? Getting pulled out of her car because she didn't know she wasn't supposed to drive somewhere because they have quarantine. And they pulled her out and they broke her back and she died. They just pulled 5 men, grown men, pull this young little Chinois, she's a very petite girl, pull her out. She's crying and screaming and they break her back and she's dead and they just pulled her back. What kind of monsters? Y'all, that's why you men are going to be treated like that over in Chinois. Chinois males. That's why it's attacking your males over there. Because how could you do that to a young lady? She's a teenager, like a little girl. It took you 5 men to pull her out of the car and you break her back and she's dead and you just drag her body? You savages. Listen, I don't feel bad. That military over there, I don't know if they're super soldiers. They're cold. They haven't any consciousness. The way that they're treating their own. Listen, the communist system, I understand why they're trying to make that Chinois take over the entire planet. Because the way that they treat their own. My mother used to tell me when people mistreat their own, she used to tell me we're friends, back in the days. My mother said, if people treat their own like garbage, how do you think they're going to treat you? How do you think you're going to treat you? They're going over there hurting young. I saw the young lady. She could be anyone's daughter. young teenage girl. She was cute. She had a little sassy shirt, jacket on. She's probably driving just because, you know, maybe she's going somewhere. How dare you? How dare you? Disgusting. You Borg-like beings. I don't know what kind of super soldiers you got over there. Garbage. Shinwa, you should be ashamed of yourself. And let me tell you, I don't care what the president is dipping out or not, out of jump rooms. We gonna find you. We gonna find you. Because you allowing your own people to be treated like that, or we gonna find you on any planet. Best believe the extraterrestrials, all the other beings aren't going to allow you to have reprieve. That isn't something, that's genocide of your own people. There is a cold place in hell for you. A cold place in hell, because hell isn't hot, it's cold. You dark bastard. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The babies, I hope there's no babies in the room. I'm sorry. I hope there's no babies in the room. Please, I apologize for that. Anyway. So I think he's dipping in and out. So the question is, how long will it be between the time of the pole shift and every single Willy Wonka official dips out? Are we going to actually see your president? Is your president actually, because he's a time traveler, okay? So it's been proved, listen, at least in my neck of the woods, to my knowledge, he's a time traveler. So because his son was already seen and documented in books. I personally don't think, this is my opinion, I personally don't think that your president will be in the future. I think if he goes anywhere, he's going in the past. Because it's much more advantageous to go to an environment where they have less intel on the future. They're more limited in technology, so they have much more, much more advantages going in the past than they would in the future. I personally think that if your president leaves, he's going in the past. This is what because I'm just saying, we already saw Barron, Trump's son. We already saw him documented in the book. So we know that they're in the past already. So I think they're setting up shop with the kings and queens. And I think they're going back in the past. I really think until the whole pole shift and everything subsides, I think some of them are going in the past. Okay? You already know that one of those beings, I don't talk about him. He's married to one of the celebrities. You know, she's a singer. And he isn't from here. He isn't from here either. Now, I don't know how he had the capability. I got intel on that, but I don't want to talk about that. But he's also a time traveler. So he has already set up shop, probably in another timeline, but the timelines are collapsing. So I won't say timeline, in another time frame and time reference. So the jump rooms are not just interstellar. There are jump rooms that take you into, more so time travel. They are jump rooms that you can use for time travel as well. So when we talk about the Montauk Project and a lot of these projects, Project Paperclip, a lot of them go into the time technology and utilizing of stargates. The stargates aren't accessible. The stargates that were built by, ancient, well, I don't want to say ancient because they're from the past, but they could be from the future. It could be both simultaneously because time doesn't exist. So the stargates that are set up in Israel, there's one in Israel. I know Iraq had a stargate. Also, there's one here in the States, I think by the Georgia, what is it, Georgia something? You know, it's Georgia Rocks. Georgia has one. Where's the other ones? There's one there. I think Syria might have one. Guidestones. Thank you. Georgia Guidestones has one. They have one. I know they have a Stargate. Israel has one. Iraq has one. They're all over the planet. The Stargates that are here. Oh my gosh. It's on the top of my head. I remember documenting it. Oh, I know in Siberia, there's one. That's why the Nazis are over there. Where else? There's one, I think, and I think Siberia is the other one. Okay, there's a lot of stargate. There's a lot of natural stargates here that were built. Africa has a few. I know most South Africa, most likely, or in the southern part of Africa has it. Oh, here it is. Yafi's got it. The Baron Trump Collection. Travels and Adventures of a Little Baron Trump. Oh, snap. And his wonderful dog, Bulger. Baron Trump's marvelous underground journey. The Last President or 1900. Woo! See? Yafi got it. So I personally think that your president is going to be traveling in the past. He already has. I think they set up shop with the queens and kings. I think they've already set up. So I think they've already set up to be in the past while everything goes down. But the stargates are only accessible. Oh, yes. In Central America. I think it's Peru. Peru has it. Peru has it, or Colombia. It's either in Peru or Colombia. Okay, so it's only accessible by DNA sequence. So if you are, let's say, Georgia Guidestones, okay? And, oh, there's like 600 people. Please put a handy dandy like on the video if you want me to continue. But there's 600 people in the room having this handy dandy conversation. Please put a like just as a way to keep the video up and to let me know that you appreciate the topic. Thank you. The Georgia Guidestones are there, and the only way that you can have access, these are stargates that are accessible by your DNA sequence. So meaning that if you cut, now mind you, that's why they didn't do mixing for a long time, because in order to have a quantified amount of the DNA, you would have to be in part of that matriarchal line for generations. Remember, the matriarchy, the mother, gives you the extra mitochondria. That's why the men made the women take on his name, because they were jealous. The patriarchy was jealous. So he made you take on his surname because he was jealous that the mother gave you extra. She marks you. That's why the Jewish people can only consider you a Jew if your mother is Jewish. Okay, so the mother denotes genealogy. So if your mother has been an indigenous, if your mother is a Cherokee, okay, it doesn't matter what the father is. It does to a certain degree. He may water down, or he may up the level of whatever DNA you have. But over generations, if your mother was the Cherokee, and then the next generation, the mother, the child that child has that DNA. Then she gives birth. Now she keeps getting with someone who isn't of that background. She keeps watering down her DNA. And as she does that, then she loses that extra mitochondriac sequencing that would allow her access to certain portals or stargates. Okay, I know this for a fact. So that's why it's a lot of the indigenous, the $5 Indians. Okay, so, and if no one knows what that is, the $5 Indians were the ones who paid for the nationality of the indigenous. So because there was a lot of perks or free land, you know, there were treaties made. A lot of the Europeans that were here that wanted to have some of the privileges of the indigenous, even though it wasn't a privilege to be put on a space of land, like it's a privilege to be on a space of land that was isolated. And it's how you gonna let them live on, say, oh, we gonna leave you a piece of land. It isn't yours. First of all, the indigenous don't believe you can own land, so it's already archaic that they came over here. Anyway, so yeah, there's no perks, but a lot of the European sacks wanted some up on some of that, so they didn't have to pay high taxes. So what they did is they paid $5 for the nationality, to take on the nationality of the indigenous. So there's a lot of non-indigenous Cherokee. A lot of the Cherokee nations, remember I told you about the fight? There's a lot of Cherokee nations that are ran by, quote unquote, the Europeans that are not the indigenous, and they paid for the nationality, and they're heading a lot of these tribal councils and whatnot, and it's very disgusting. So they've incepted and they're ruling over it. So it's really sad that you have people that lineage had paid for the nationality. They're not Cherokee. And you can see visually, they're not Cherokee. They don't have the high cheekbones. They don't have the copper skin. They don't have the same, you know, because remember the Mongolians came here at the time, very slanted. They aren't that. So, you know, when you water something down so many times, so many generations, you lose the dexterity of the gene pool. Any of you who work in laboratories know that. If I water down a gene pool, then that's why all my rats, when I worked in a laboratory, were white with pink eyes. That's why your chickens of mass destruction have white feathers with pink eyes, because you watered down their gene pool. Chickens in nature are brown with brown eyes. Okay. They are like that. Rats and mice, even the cute ones here. We have really pretty rats here in Florida. I know people don't like that. They're fruit rats. We call them roof rats. They go in the trees like squirrels. They're like grayish with a little bit of white on them. Those are natural rats. Okay. So, you know, we homogenize things. So, you know, an indigenous, okay. So I'm going back to the genomes, that have the quantified access to a lot of these, jump rooms or these stargates. Okay. So in order to access a stargate, I have access to one stargate. I had a dream about this years ago. It's crazy because as a little girl, remember I told you I was in contact with a Mayan, with the Mayan empire of the matriarchy. She was the one who cultivated me and seeded me. She's an Andromedan. She's the one that was part of the exodus of Mayan women that had actually left during the last cataclysm. They're back. A lot of them are back right now. So they're holding head of household right now, home court advantage as we go back into a healthy matriarchy. Okay. But they had access to the inner earth stargate. Remember I told you it's like Peru or Colombia, inner earth stargate. And they were able to enter that stargate because they had the quantified amount of DNA sequence so they could access it. Okay. The earth doesn't play. The earth allows for reprieve for those who are part of her natural terrain. And I know there's ones on the inner caverns too, like on the ocean. Inside the oceans is like caverns, right? Caverns in the ocean. And there are aquatic beings that also have these stargates or portals, water portals that they can go in and out of. Okay. That's where you get the Loch Ness Monster and all that kind of stuff. There's inner earth portals where they are going into other realms or other, you know, time frames and what have you. Okay. So for some of you who have a lot of the gene pool of wherever you come from, you will be able to access, and you'll know, because like I said, I dreamed years ago and then later on was verified. You'll have access to these portals if you need them. Some of you won't. Some of you won't have to necessarily leave. You just will have to be somewhere in a healthy, you'll know because you'll have the inner knowing what to do. So if you're feeling the need to migrate, you migrate. Just like, you know, just stop eating foods that are muting your sensory. That's all. So if you have foods that are muting you, you may not be as open or receptive to what's propelling you to migrate or to leave or to exodus. Okay. So the celebrities have gotten the word because remember, they're working with dark Kabbalists. A lot of these are demonics. You know, these are interdimensional beings that are giving them intel so they know when to leave. Okay. Ireland and Scotland. Someone asked me that. Ireland and Scotland. You have one in Scotland, I think, or Dublin. Because remember, Dublin. No, not Dublin. Shannon in Ireland. And I'm being really loose with it because remember, I don't know the terrain. I just know the names and generic names. You know, I don't know as much about, I just know because I know people in Ireland. Shannon, I know for a fact has something. Shannon has, remember the leprechauns, the leprechauns, which were the little pygmy Africano looking people. They changed the way it looked, right, later. But they're little African people. Remember, they were entering into the vortexes that were in the inner earth. The upside down. Anytime you saw a rainbow, that's where the gold was. Anytime you saw a rainbow above means there was an inverted one underneath. And that's why they were accessing your point in Twa. They're like the Twa people. That's how they were able to exit, come in. That's how they were able to come in and out via those little vortexes that will only show up when the rainbow came in. And that's why you get the story of them coming and the end of the rainbow is gold. It wasn't that it was gold. You could enter into the vortex and you enter into the world where that's why they always used to wear gold nuggets and stuff on them. It's actually beautiful. Ireland has, they just changed the complexion. You know, they'll change the way they look a little bit, but they were little people. So when you saw the rainbow in Shannon, Usually there was an inverted one, and that one allowed you to go to Shangri-La. That's why we get the name Shangri-La. And these were inner earth beings, so you can get access to those points. So if some of you are there in Ireland, I think it would be really fun to really study the history and go enter into those areas. There's maps. Oh God, where is it? There's maps. Oh, there was another YouTube channel who was talking about the maps. Where is it? I forgot. Oh, there was a map somewhere. Oh, I gotta remember. I don't remember so much. We've got trolls. Who's in here? Why are they coming? Lately, they've been disseminating. The AI is disseminating weirdos in here. Thank you. Thank you for ridding them. Okay. Okay. So anyway, those in Ireland, I would say start to research. Remember, that is a reason why the Irish and the Cherokee are the number one. They used to call them abductees, contactees. There's a reason why the Irish and the Cherokee were always abducted by the Pelagians. Remember that? I don't know if many of you know that. The one thing, it was weird because the Cherokee liked to mix with the Irish too. It was such a weird, sometimes we don't know sometimes how the liaisons or the, or how the treaties work out galactically or interdimensionally. But for some reason, the Irish and the Cherokee were taken. They always had a good liaison with their Pelagian families. And they're number one who were always abducted. I used to hear stories all the time of the connection of the Cherokee and the Irish. And I was like, why? That's such a weird connection. But because they were probably from the same initial kin or seed ship. You know what I mean? So I thought it was fascinating. So all my Irish brethren and sea stars, start to look that up. You have a very rich history and you have access points because the leprechaun stories are real. They shared them, but they didn't tell you about the inversion and how that entered into Shangri-La, okay, into the inner earth portals. And I just think by the fact that you have the DNA from living there, because Irish have very unique DNA. That's why they get some of them get very bright red hair. That's a lot of melanin. To get that right curly red hair, it's because they mix with those inner earth beings. I personally think they're probably seeded. Maybe you guys are seeded from inner earth. I don't know for sure, but I just think it's very unique. So just look that up, my Irish and Scottish friends. I know Scotland and Ireland have a very rich Celtic history and a lot of magical stories come from those areas and arenas. Okay, so I think wherever there's smoke, there's fire. So check out your family history over there. It's beautiful. There's a lot of elemental based talking about the pixies and the fairies. And I think it's because there's that inner earth portal that you guys had access to. And that's why I think you get a lot of that elemental, like overlay or kind of like bleed over to because of those portals. Anyway. So we have those who have the quantified amount of DNA that can access those portals. Okay. So if you are living anywhere in those areas, and I would say the Georgia guidelines, wherever you go. And what's the other one? Stonehenge? Where's Stonehenge again? Where's Stonehenge? I know has another vortex of a Stargate. I think it's more of a vortex that comes every couple of years. So I think a lot of these now, mind you, remember years ago, I told you, I think HARP was trying to find all the portals and the Stargates. I think HARP initially, this is my opinion. This is when it first came out. This is my opinion. I personally think that HARP was trying to indicate portals and vortexes all over. Remember we had the Bermuda Triangle. We had all that because when HARP came about, that's when I saw them doing a lot of things in pinnacle points. So I just think that maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. That I can't vet out because I can't really verify that. It's just, I'm just thinking about this years ago, thinking that they were trying to find out all the entry points and exit points. Because even with the Niberians, I don't use the term for anyone coming on. Oh, thank you, Elijah. Whoop, whoop. Let me give a sip to the haters. Please put a like on the video if you are enjoying the conversation, because we're going to go a little further until I have to go get a wax. Okay. Okay. What was I saying? My Niberians. I'm refraining from using the generic term Anunnaki because they're Niburians. Anunnaki just means people from out there. You know what I mean? It's such a generic term, and they don't call themselves Anunnaki. So I just decided, my personal opinion, what I decided. Just like I call the Draconians, I call them Crocodilians. I just make up terms that I can quantify. It's just, I'm sorry if I do that. So you just know what I'm talking about. So when I say Niburians, I'm talking about what you deem to be the Anunnaki. Okay. So Planet X people. Yeah. Those are better terms to me because it gives them more credence to like where they're from instead of, because anything could be an Anunnaki. If we use a term like from them out there, it could be Pelagian, it could be Andromeda, you know what I mean? So I'm just using that. So there's a couple vortexes. Yes. And underneath the Caribbean, Bahamas, under St. Croix, those Virgin Islands, remember there's that whole Atlantis. That has a whole nother, now Atlantis is a whole nother port. Remember when I told you I got pregnant with my girls? The number one place, and I know because they were seeded specifically for me, every time I was pregnant with my little ones, I always took a trip to Bahamas, and it wasn't purposefully. It would always be like, oh, okay. My husband would like, oh, okay, we have to go to Bahamas. He went for business for the first one. So, I kind of went with him on business to go to Bahamas. So I just kind of, stowed away with him. And then I was there for pregnancy with her. And then my second one, all of us, we went to Atlantis. Atlantis is like that water park thing. It's beautiful. It was beautiful. I don't know how it fared with the storm. It was absolutely beautiful. I went over there pregnant with my second one. So I figured whatever vortex is there, it had to do something to my babies and my tummy. It must have sparked them. I don't know what it did, but it was necessary for me to go over there. And because I come from the region, the Caribbean region, I think it was necessary for my babies to have that. Whatever was lent in energy from Atlantis, it did something to my tummy when I was pregnant. Okay, so we're going to see over the next 6 months, 6 months, you're going to see an exodus, a mass exodus of all of your officials, Willy Wonka and the League of Doom, and you will see major catastrophes happening to quote unquote celebrities. So don't be shocked. Big up to my Intellis, bomb.com. Don't be shocked when you see people dipping out via some sort of tragedy or accident because they can't do it overtly. If they let you know that them and theirs are bouncing, you would flip out as you should be. Because remember, before the Shinhwa had all this raccoon virus, T virus, before that, I made a video talking about why are they trying to buy houses? Why are they all over here? And it's not a racial thing, but why are communists, remember it's a communist, Raccoon City, that's a communist nation. Shinhwa is a communist over there. They don't let people just leave and dip out. People paid a lot of money to leave before the T virus, raccoon virus was set out. They knew. Now I know they knew. Because when I went to the library, I didn't tell you this, family. I went to the library the other night because I had to fax something. I'm such a sag. I tell you everything. Y'all can't ever say I lie to you. Because I'm just so... Sometimes I share things that are just like, why? Anyway, so I went to the library the other night to fax something. Family, why did I go in there and feel like I was in Shinhwa City? I live in a very small area, my people like Selma and, my admin Selma and Nora could tell you because they were over here with me. I live in a really small area, very sweet area. Why is it that why was I in the library and I felt like I was in Taiwan? Why? Where did all these people come? We just had a virus? So you tell me you got a latent virus. And first of all, maybe the reason why this whole rogue influenza B came about is because you had this exodus of people that were carriers of this virus. Maybe influenza B isn't anything but the same thing that they suffered from over there. The difference is that it was attacking their genomes. It was specifically designated and created to attack theirs. But maybe as it comes over here, all this supposed, because remember, 10,000, over 10,000, what was it? Over 10,000 people? No. How many people? It was an astronomical number. it was something like over 10,000 people died, or 8,000 people are dead here in the United States of America from influenza B, when in fact influenza A had become mutated into influenza B. And you don't think it's odd that the name of Raccoon City is Influenza C? Now they changed the name into some sort of coronavirus 18, what is it called? Con virus 1918? No, 19? Now they put a number. Now they changed the number because we called the Raccoon City, because that's exactly what it was. It was the T virus. Play Resident Evil. I told you I play Resident Evil. I already saw this. I didn't have to be a psychic. All I had to do was play a video game like 20 years ago. COVID-19. Thank you, Vape King. Now it's called now they changed the name because we were too smart. We knew what it was. Raccoon City virus. Don't try to play games with us. We're not stupid. It's called the T virus. I played Resident Evil. I already saw what they did, and I saw what it looks like in Ground Zero. And it looks like the zombie apocalypse. Don't play games. Willy Wonka, Chinois. Anyway, so I went to the library. I saw Chinois everywhere. I was like, oh, slap. Why did you send your people over here? So that influenza B family, it's my thought. I don't think that's influenza B. I think whatever they brought over here, when they brought those, the influx of people that I don't even know when they came. I told you about the soft takeover. It's a full-on takeover. I told you they brought that here. That's why you had that. I'm being honest. Don't play games. And also Seattle is all, Lynn let me know. Seattle's all has the virus all there. They're not putting that on social media. Please put a like on the video if you like the shenanigans today. If you haven't put a like on the video, please put a like on the video. We have quite a few people in the room. It would be cohesive that they won't take my video down if you put a like on the video. Thank you. So I'm just saying, you know, I use my common sense. All of a sudden, we're talking about 10,000 people already died up to January. Something crazy. It was a crazy number. Don't use that number. It may be more, maybe less. It was some crazy number. And it was like over, like a crazy amount of people who had all kinds of weird pneumonia and everything. Why aren't we talking about the fact that we had Chinois over here for a long period of time? And if, in fact, you tell me that Chinois just found out that there's a virus over there, they're secretive. They didn't tell you. They didn't even let you know. The only reason you found out is because the doctors were telling their families and it got on social media. That's the only way it came out. They would have kept that a secret. So how long was that a secret, family? How long was that a secret? So you're telling me that there was a first case in November and nobody knew about it? So over in Seattle, Washington right now, I'm giving you the heads up because it's all over right now. In Seattle, Washington, the late Lynn already told me, big up to Lynn, give me the intel. They're not telling you. It's all there. A friend of hers went to the hospital and the nurse told her to get out because the raccoon virus is there. There were so many people in the hospital coughing. They're not telling. She said, why aren't they telling everything to the public? Because they don't want to cause a fear. Why do you think they're having these huge meetings? Already setting up shop for all these they're already setting up shop for all these quarantine centers. Why do you think they already set up shop? We already have the cities. I won't talk about them here. You already know where they are. Why would they talk about it if it wasn't here already? Why would you even care if you were being so careful? Why would you? My thing is, okay, I'm going on a rant and then I'm going to go back to this because it's all relative, family. That's why they're doing the Exodus. Why do you think somebody left the planet before this happened? So you think it's ironic that somebody died right before this virus, the intel, and it was somebody who was close to the Chinois? I'm just saying, this person was close to the Chinois, and you think it's ironic that they left right before the news broke out? I'm going to keep it there. So, what? Oh, I went off on a tangent and I forgot what I was talking about. Sometimes I go into other arenas and I forget where I am. Oh, they're setting up shop. So, I was just going to say something. Oh my gosh. I forgot. I forgot. Doo-doo-doo. Baby on the brain. Where was I? Okay. Yeah, quarantine. Okay, so they have quarantine. Okay, so all right, so let's go into their exodus, their jump rooms. We're going to see or witness a mass exodus via accident, via false flags, via, quarantine. You can't see anything, no television or anything. When that happens, first of all, if they decide, because they made a whole, they're banning the video of them talking about it. They actually sat down. Oh, that's what I was saying. Darn, it wants to leave my head. I want to tell you something, but every time I got to take a sip for the haters. Hold on. Please put a like on the video if you're coming in the room for the shenanigans. Please put a like, put a handy dandy like in the video. We have 700 fantastic people in the room. Please, I ask you nicely. Let me give a sip for my haters. Uh-oh. Wait, let me do an ASMR. I told you. I think ASMR is sick. Y'all, I wouldn't have known about it if you didn't send me the sickos. Okay. Come on, wait. It's for the haters. There was a sea star over here saying you're drinking poison. Well, if I'm going, we going into pole shift, I'm going to take as many sips as possible. There won't be any Starbucks post pole shift. Post pole shift, you're going to wish you had a Starbucks. I'm taking as many sips. I told you I'm stocking up for the apocalypse. All this is stocked up for the apocalypse. I'm going to look like a brick house. I'm going to look like a superstar. After the apocalypse. I'm going to be able to let my babies eat because I won't need to eat because I got steerage. Anyway. Okay, so they're already setting up shop for theirs and for the quarantine cities. And why is it that we had Gainesville, Florida, big up to the Sea Star on Instagram, that was like last week, who also let us know that they have an outbreak in Gainesville, and it was on the Florida campus. Anybody in Florida, tell your children to be mindful of washing their hands and whatnot, because it was already in Gainesville, and they didn't want to tell you anything. So let me tell you, family, it's a setup. It's a setup. You already know what time it is. You know how Willy Wonka and his League of Doom work. You won't know. If they tell you, it's too late. Okay, because they already set up shop. Y'all know if you're going to bunker down, make sure you about that life. Make sure you quantified to be able to bunker down. If you got to bounce, you need to have your bug outs. I already talked about that. You need to know. I gave you hours, times. Let's get it on and popping. I want my people to be safe. It's not that I don't want anybody else, but we're a family. We've set up shop here. One thing I say, and I'm grateful for, we have a beautiful platform. We have a lot of amazing people who join us. And I want the best for you and yours. I do. So even when we do tomorrow, we do our shield. So make sure a point if you do, because we do our 13 shield every month. That's a very important shield. It's a very important shield right now. We're going to do our shield, and I'm going to add something for these viruses, because it's not just one. It's not just one. It's a variant. And they're changing. Remember, these viruses are sentient. Xinhua's president called them demons. Did you hear that, family? He called them demons. He called the T virus a demon. What does that say to you? It probably is. And remember, it only can access you based on your frequency. Remember, there isn't anything that can mess with you if you aren't matching the frequency of it. Why would Xinhua's president call it a demon? So you're telling me the League of Doom has created a T virus that has sentient connections? Sickos. It's like mad scientists. Hold on. Sickos. There's a bunch of sickos, and they're mad scientists. They're eugenicists. I blame the Nazis for this. I blame the Nazis and those future humans that are living under the ground in the future who came here and are causing problems. Okay? So you're going to see everyone jumping ship. You're going to see people leaving on false flags. That once they send to, okay, so once they set up quarantine, family, that's when they're going to all dip. Once they're going to set up, because it'll give them time and it'll give them anonymity. That'll give them a cloak, because remember, many of you watch, Kardashians, wombs of doom, holes of doom, yonis of doom. That Kardashian is like watching a black hole, open up. She's a womb of doom. Okay, so a lot of people are too busy. A lot of the sleeping sheeple are too busy watching, social media. They care about the color of the hair. Those aren't beings that are here they aren't here for that life. Okay, though I don't even know if they might be holographic beings for all I know. I told you I won't be engaging with holographic beings anymore. I won't have long conversations with them. Holographic beings have taken too much of my energy. Every time I talk to a holographic being, they just on a loop. They won't even let you add anything to the conversation. That's how you know it's a hologram. The holographic beings, all they do is talk, and they just have a loop. And then they don't want to hear anything. They just want to talk. There's a lot of holographic beings, and you think that they're real. They aren't. I don't even know that like I said, watch Star Trek, the holodeck. These beings actually believe they're real. I think that's part of the AI system. Okay. And remember, I was saying with their president over there, Xinhua, I personally think he's coming in and out of jump rooms. He's prepping to leave. And I personally, this is my opinion, I think he set his people up. I do. Because it was already denoted. Gus shared a little insert for us that I shared on Instagram. Did you see that insert when they said they were going to disseminate this on the Xinhua people? It was already predestined. It was like, what was that, 30, 40 years ago? They already said they were going to do it. So this isn't a shock. That's why all the Xinhua came here. These are the people that could afford to leave and set up shop here. They are all here. I went to the library. I felt like I was in little China. I felt like I was there. Okay. So they're going to be stargates and vortexes that open at pinnacle points. Now we have to be mindful of celestial galactic phenomenon, because a lot of times these stargates and these vortexes open and close. They open and close at specific celestial events. So it's very important. Oh, I got to sip for the haters again. Are more haters in here? Oh, I'm going to say something about the sanitation stuff. This is sip for the haters again. Where are you haters? Where are you haters? All those in the bushes. Please put a like in the video if you want me to sip for the haters. All those in the bushes. Why do you come here? Look. Oh, she's drinking poison. Oh, she's infected by nanobots. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, she's infected. She's drinking poison. She's not valid. She can't be real. Big up to all those in the bushes. You like coming to my channel? Why? If you dislike me so much, why even come here? If you come here and you dislike me, I'm a liar. Why would you want to listen to anything I say? I'm mentally ill, according to some of you. I drink poison in my Starbucks. That's what you say. Why here? You said I'm vain because I have breasts of mass destruction. You said my breasts are keeping men entrained. Why are you here? Anyway, all right. So there's pinnacle points. Now, mind you, we're not even talking about the twin flame event, March 22nd, which I think they're trying to keep us from doing. So I think also some of this banning of, I was also going to talk about Lysol. I personally, listen, I told y'all, anytime they promote something to use, you should run away from it. Lysol, I won't use Lysol. I haven't used Lysol in years. I think I haven't used Lysol since the ancient days. I haven't used Lysol maybe 9 years. Why? Is because it's an aerosol that has a lot of toxins. So it bothers me respiratory wise. It causes respiratory issues with me. So it's interesting that they're promoting something that can actually inhibit your immune system and actually cause lung issues. So why would they be promoting Lysol? I don't even see the chinois. I was watching their videos. They don't use well, then maybe they don't have Lysol, but I didn't see them using that kind of aerosol even when they were disinfecting. So I would be mindful, family, to stay away from anything that they promote. Like Lysol, I personally think they keep pushing it, and all these kind of Lysol wipes. These are toxins. I don't clean my house with those things. I don't even use those things in my house. Why would you spray them? And remember, you're going to be spraying it a lot because you're spraying your packages. Be careful using these things that they are perpetually promoting, because these are aerosols and these will compromise your immune system because they're highly chemicalized. And also they might inhibit your lungs. Lungs have these little fibers on them. What is it? Silica, like silica. I think it's called silica. They're very sensitive. You hamper those silica, maybe they die. Maybe the silica become atrophied or sila. Is it sila? Is it sila or silica? Cilia. They have these little fibers. Maybe the fibers get like maybe the fibers like get hampered or something. I'm just saying, this is my opinion. You don't have to listen to me. I vet it out. I could be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You never listen to FleurBrun totally. I always say, if you hear me share things, by all means, you should always go and share and go and find out yourself. I never want you to ever, oh, my twin flame. I never want you to ever rely totally on me, because I could be all kinds of crazy. Always vet anything I say. If Lysol works for you, you do you. But I won't have it in the house with my girls, and it's not good for animals. Animals get really sick with it. So be careful with that. I'm just saying. There's other things you can use. Pure alcohol, which doesn't bother anyone. It doesn't really cause any problems. You can use other forms of disinfectant that are much more much more cohesive for you. I use eucalyptus. I burn eucalyptus in the house all day and night to allow the lungs to have reprieve. Vinegar. There's things that kill things off, like, alcohol mixed with lemon peels. That's a good one. I never thought about that. That's a good one. Just make your own ingredients, and it's a disinfectant because you could tell. Okay, so use what you've been using. A lot of you are holistic, so I really am talking to the choir right now. But spray your packages. Remember, chinois, I don't even think some of your packages are coming. Some of the packages, stop. Make sure you wish. Don't make a wish. Oh, wait. 9. Thank you, my love. Neen said, no Chinese food, no swap meat, no El Baba. I didn't say it. She said it. I appreciate the share. Pine Sol is really good. Pine Sol is like an old school one. I ordered that. I'm going to show it on Instagram when it comes. I ordered this old fashioned, it's like one of those old fashioned stuff they use. It's like Pine Sol times 10. I ordered one of these because I want to mop the floor. I did my feng shui. I did all my feng shui in my bedroom yesterday, so my mate has to come and do the bed part. So I did my feng shui, so I have to clean up. I want to mop up. I got to clean up. My neighbor let me use his recycling bin. I think he took it back. I had so much recycling because I recycle like a Nazi every week. So he let me use his used bin, but hopefully he doesn't put it back. I like to use 2 large. I recycle. I have no garbage. This is how much garbage I have per week. Listen, it's about about 1 bag. I have 1 little bag in garbage and all recycling. My recycling bin is like overloading. I'm so grateful he let me use this. I'm going to ask him if I could use his, because he doesn't recycle. I recycle. He could use. I'm so crazy. I'm obsessed with recycling. My dad was like that. I'm a Nazi. I get mad when the neighbors don't recycle. They feel bad when they see my bins. They feel guilty. Anyway, you don't have garbage. I mean, most people, if you shouldn't have that much garbage. Anyway, just keep your houses clean and everything. Use other things while clearing your house, okay? And have some charcoal. For the mommies, I'm going to do this later. Hold on, family. I want to, hold on. What time is it? I got to make sure. I want to go get my wax, family. You have to clean your house. Yeah, fairy magic. I've got to clean. Like yesterday, I did my feng shui in my bedroom. I know I'm going sidebar. I'll come back to the topic. I'm a natural. I speak naturally. I'm not a biobot. I don't make videos with censor or any sort of like apps or anything. So if you come here, people in the bushes get mad that I go on. It's me. I'm a natural person. I'm not a biobot or a Borg. I don't edit my videos. I don't do any. If you want all that fancy smancy, there's a lot of other sea stars who may do that. I come as is, and I hope you're okay with it. If you're not, I'm not upset if you go to another channel, because I may not be your cup of tea. Please put a like on the video. Anyway, so what was I talking about? I was just talking about something. I forgot what I was talking about. I go on tangents. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I cleaned the room and did my feng shui yesterday. Yeah, I did my feng shui. I listened to Lynn. I did the whole room setup. You guys need to set up, because this is the year of the rat, and I'm a rat. But mind you, remember, rats bring pestilence and diseases. And as soon as the year of the rat came in for the Chinois, what did it bring about? A disease of mass destruction. Isn't that crazy? Like, usually rats are denoted as being viral. They're very smart and clever, but they also bring, you're a rat too, JK Low. It's amazing. You're a rat. Listen, this is our year, but mind you, they brought pestilence for the others. So it's crazy how they didn't even have time to set up the feng shui. So even remember, they were going to celebrate their holiday, which was their New Year's. What was it? January something 20. No, what was it? It was January 20th. Remember, they were all traveling for their New Year's. They didn't get to set up their feng shui. That's why a lot of them are suffering. They didn't get to set up shop, get ready for, get their stuff together for the holiday. Because remember, they're very rich, everything. Oh, snap. It's the year of the rat, and the rat brought pestilence all over the planet. Woo! Fire in the yard. Rats. We are the rats. Never thought I'd be okay saying that. I don't play jokes with I make sure energetically we're sound. There's a lot going on. So you can clean your houses, family, because there's a lot. Remember, as within, so without. When you keep your space clean, you keep viral clean. So I got to clean the corners. It's almost springtime. So, it's our seeding time for those who are planters. We make sure we're planters. We get obsessed with our seeds this time. So make sure you're cleaning your house, smoking it out, because remember when the hurricane came here and everyone's like, oh, the hurricane, I was putting seeds outside. People were like, why are you planting flowers? It's raining. I'm happy. So when everybody was scared about the hurricane, and what happened to the hurricane? It went right around us. So you will engage with things how you accept it. So if you keep your home clean and clear, like I had to get the recycle. I was very upset about the recycle. Clean your house. And then I have to do, like, I want to, because the girls, I got to do their room. I got to mop. I got to put things up. I have new pictures. Then I got to, my other, my secret squirrel spot. I got to get everything together. So just get everything together, family. Just get everything together. Keep your spot clean. That's all. All right. So now we have, I'll go back to the topic. So now we have the Chinois, the Willy Wonka and the Chinois jumping out of rooms. I think he's preparing to leave. And I personally think, because we saw your President Trump bounce into other timelines, I think he may be setting up shop, like I said in the past. His son is there. And I personally think by the time they do a quarantine, you will see most people disappear. They'll probably have celebrities dying and saying they died, and it's just because they left the country or they left into jump rooms. Okay, because Mars has a colony. We talked about the Martian colony. There's a lot of brown folk over there, but there's colonies of the Nazis have colonies there. There too. I know there's quite a few. There's a colony there that has actual people there that have lived there for a long period of time. They've already been there. And they've been there for a while. So there's a colony already on Mars, to my knowledge. Not just a colony of the Martians, but others who are on the other side. They already have a colony. And they've been living there for a while. So I think personally, a lot of them are doing jump rooms there. Not all the people are going underground. The poorer rich people... wait. The poorer rich people are going underground to the underground bunkers. So when I say the poor rich people, those are the ones who don't have government Willy Wonka pull. Those are the ones who don't have enough pull. Like they don't have enough Willy Wonka pull or credit. Okay. So all the Willy Wonkas, I personally think they're doing jump rooms and they're going to other time reference points. Now there's a consequence to doing that too. I don't know if we still have the concept of Time Lords or the ones who kind of, because there are teams of extraterrestrials and interdimensionals who kind of govern and police that. They aren't allowing people to just jump, because even in the future timeline, you have to have a passport of some sort. It's like a passport, and we've seen it. You've seen pictures of it. They have to have a passport to be able to travel to the past or future, and you aren't allowed to interface with people, especially of importance. You aren't allowed to. So yeah, like time cops, they have them. So I don't know, because that's not something that I'm privy about. So maybe some of you know more, but there are a lot of, as far as I know, there's supposed to be time cops that handle that kind of travel. And I personally think that they aren't allowed to do it in the way that they may intend to do it. If they're doing it, it might be illegal, but I know that there's a red flag, like a red alarm that goes off, or a blue alarm that goes off whenever a being from another timeline enters. They have some sort of alert system. So we heard this from a couple of the Montauk conversations, that whenever you time jump into another time, there's an alarm system that goes off. Because remember, like on the Matrix, remember what's his name was able to see the different what do you call it? The different what's it called? The binary codes. When they travel, the binary code does some sort of weird like dip. So it means someone entered from, like jump. So it shows up like a dip in the time when they're looking, there's actually beings that actually watch the binary codes. And each timeline has a variance of binary codes that looks different. So whenever someone jumps, there's literally a dip and they know that someone's there. And whenever that happens, they go and address it. So as far as I know, I think that, and I don't know this for a fact, I can't vet it out. It's one of those things. Oh, yes, please put a like on the video. Thank you, Seven Queen. Please put a like on the video if you enjoy this conversation. Yeah, there's a blue light. Yeah, blue type light. I know it's blue. I think it's blue. And it goes off, and it's only when they see a dip. So they know someone's jumped the timeline. And usually there's a field. We all have different reference residue. So we're here at 2020 or 2013, whatever you think their years, but we're here together. So we have a certain residue on us that comes from existing here in this timestamp. When we go into another one, we have a different field on us that others recognize as being not native to there. Do you understand? So when we go somewhere else and we aren't native to there, our aura has a different characteristic on it that isn't normal. And even they can feel it. Like I told you the other night, me and my mate were in bed, and literally the green light, because something with the green dragon, they have contact with me. I don't know why. Like they're on me. And the green light, the laser light, and that's usually when they do contact. I don't remember what happened, but his frequency changed. Like he changed. Like I personally think, and I told him this already, so this isn't new to him. I told him, I said, you aren't the one that's from here. His behavior changed. Like his whole field changed. He's my mate, but he's another version of my mate. So I don't know if I jump timelines and I'm different, or he jumped timelines. This is what I'm saying. It's a little different. His field is different. Even like his scent, I recognize his scent because he still has the same pheromones, but his vibration, he's higher. He's even higher. Like even his conversations are different. It's crazy. It's not a walk-in. No, it's a different version of him. Remember, timelines are collapsing. So it could just be that we jumped a timeline based on this contact we had, and I got a different version, or I'm a different version. So anyway, it's just his field is different. So I told him the other day, I was like, it's something. He's smarter. Not like he was stupid before. I'm not saying that, but he's just changed. Like even his conversation is different. So I said to him, because I'm very, I keep it real. I'm like, you're different. I was like, I love you regardless of what a timeline, but it's obvious. Like to me, I recognize it. And even his vibration is different. So I don't know if it's me or him, but I told him to watch. I said, see if I feel different to you or if you feel different to me. So I make sure we have this conversation so he knows what's going on, because he's not necessarily like us in this way, but he knows it exists. So he's matches the receptivity to the conversation, but he's not necessarily the same in the way that we observe it. All right. So because of the timeline collapsing also, let's be mindful that there's going to be versions of yourself and others that show up. So remember, when you ante up, when you level up, whenever you level up, you will remember timelines are collapsing because we're going back to 0 point. So when they collapse, whatever you have the most of will be the experience that you will have, or the beings your vibration will match with. So example. So let's say, who's on here? We have Summer Dawn. Hey, Summer Dawn. Summer Dawn's on here. So Summer Dawn was like going with a powwow. Like she went with her homies and they went out and they did like this beautiful elevated, like meditation, and they had a celestial event that allowed it. So mind you, the timelines are already collapsing. Then Summer goes to sleep and she wakes up. Now, everything seems similar, but some things are different. And she notices even her hair looks different in the mirror. She may notice that she may be slender or more thick. She may notice that maybe like there's a mark on her face that wasn't there previously. She may go and see her mate or her sister, and they have like they look a little different. Maybe hair color looks a little lighter or darker, and they notice it. That's because Summer has leveled up, and because we're in a collapse, whatever she resonates with the most in frequency will will show up, she'll permeate into quicker. So if she's leveled up, now she's in another timeline with those beings of that vibration in herself. So now she's another version of herself in the higher field of consciousness because she's leveled up. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you will see, like sometimes we were talking about that one. Remember when we were doing timeline jumps? We were noticing that. Like people were like, FleurBrun, you look different. Remember my hair would look lighter or darker? Borisine would talk about that. He was like, oh my God, FleurBrun looks a little different. Sometimes you would see me thinner or thicker based on the timeline jump. It's not crazy. It's literally you are permeating into the timeline that matches your vibration and frequency. So the collapse is allowing it to happen quicker. Back in the days, we would have to consciously do it, and we would have to level up so much to permeate in. The veil is very, very, very thin. The veil isn't even here. Yeah, the veil is very thin, very thin. So permeating in it, because it's collapsing on top of each other, you can dip into other timelines. That's what I'm saying. Keep your vibration high, because you won't want to dip into like 3D realms, because if you get really depressed, if you get really sad, if you start pulling into negativity, if you're hanging out with holographic beings or empty seaters, if you're doing a lot of drugs, then you pull into those lower ones, and it's easier for you to jump into a lower one than a higher one a lot of times. So be mindful of that. So like I said, with Summer, if she pulled into that frequency, she was doing stuff, she leveled up, she's permeating into a higher version of her previous timeline where she existed in a higher realm. So now she's going to experience those leveling up of her frequency and the timeline that matches her frequency. Okay. So that being said, it's very necessary. Yeah, it's like a quickening. Absolutely, Netaru. It's a quickening. That's all it is, but it's quicker than a quickening was before. Like we literally are like jumping in and out. So, that being said, it is very common for you right now to wake up. And even I saw the sky there. Did you guys notice the sky? The sky the other day in Florida was orange, like straight orange. And I was going out, and my little one's friends, my little one has her crew. Her crew were on their bikes. They're so cute. Oh, the little ones. I love the little ones in these timelines. The little ones were up on it. They were like, I've never seen a sky that orange ever. They were looking up at the sky on their bikes. It was like a little story. It was like almost like I was looking at a movie. It was so cute. They were looking up at the sky. The sky was orange. I was like, I haven't ever seen a sky that orange ever. I was like, we aren't in Kansas anymore. Remember, remember the time it was cold and windy, and we said that the entire planet might have jumped into another time, a vortex. Oh, balanced effort. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Got to go. A hologram just walked in. Work. Appreciate you. Oh, snap. Bounce. Bounce, balance. Get away from the hologram. They're going to try to distract you. Run. Run. Run, Forrest. Run. Those holographic people, listen, the Smiths got them holographic people trying all kinds of distractions. They took my time. Literally, a hologram was taking my time. I was like, you stealing my time. Hologram? I can't have the full conversation with you. So I know the holograms will be in certain pinnacle points. I just avoid them. And I won't engage with them any longer because we need our energy right now for leveling up. So I won't be able to engage with holograms. So any holographic people on here, big up to y'all. Y'all are doing a very disgusting job at trying to siphon off our energy. And we rebuke you. Let me say this to the holographic Smiths. We rebuke you. Let me say it one more time. We rebuke you. Three's a charm. Y'all try to distract us. I want to talk to real. I don't care if you are a shapeshifter. Just let me know what you shapeshifting into. I'm okay with you shapeshifters too, as long as you are healthy and you ain't trying to hurt the planet. I'm okay with you shapeshifters. You just have to disclose. I remember FleurBrun's about that life. Let me know what you are, shapeshifters. Did you see someone sent me pictures? I think I'm going to ask her permission to put it on hologram. She got good ones of shapeshifters. Woo! They out of the closet. Shapeshifters are coming out of the galactic closet and the inner earth closets. Jumping out, looking at you like, what? Yeah, I got slanted eyes. What? They looking at you like you're crazy. Oh, who's calling me? Hold on. Beat her phone. Beat her phone. Who's calling? My phone is asking me, how do I feel to be outdoors? This is what I'm talking about. I got a beater phone and the beater phone is talking to me. My phone just asked me, how do I feel to be outdoors? You see what I'm saying? This is, we're living in a very technologically, very interesting world. Okay. So, anyway, so we have timeline collapse where we're collapsing timelines. That means that we're going back to 0 points. So no one should be shocked. Hey, Bikini Junkie, there shouldn't be anyone shocked. Oh, new Max Spears info. You know, Bikini Junkie, I was supposed to call you like 50 million times. Every time I try to call you, and it makes me think that they're trying to make me not call you because we're supposed to talk. And and remember, we have the twin flame conjunction happening in March. From March 11th to the 22nd, the twin flames are supposed to do their conjunction. And it's making me seem like they're trying to deter us twins from actually solidifying and holding that field. Because we're supposed to jump we're supposed to level everybody up. So listen, twin flames. Let me talk to the twin flames on here. Listen, twinnies. There's something going on with that too. I personally think that they can't do it. If I take the actual gems from the dark crystal, it doesn't matter what they do. They're not allowed to deter us. So at the twin flame conjunction, just like in the movie, remember when the conjunction was happening, Ogre was talking about it, but the mystics had to make the trek anyway. So mystics were like, remember, if a Skeksis died, a mystic died, but they did their trek. So I personally think it doesn't matter what they try to do, they won't be able to stop the conjunction. I don't think they are. If I follow the code of the dark crystal, they won't be able to do it. So twinnies, don't worry about it. When we're meant to merge, there isn't any stopping us. Can't stop, won't stop. So twinnies, take that out of your mind. Don't even let them put that in your... Oh, look, they're trying to do it now. Don't let them put that in your mind. You can do it. That was me. I pushed the button by accident. Okay? So just, I'm telling all the twins, stay positive. Stay positive, stay up, stay confident that if you know you're a twin, your twin will always come to you or you to them. If they're your twin, okay? So I personally, we'll see. I kind of created that concept. It's kind of like a hypothesis. I think I came up with that. So let's see if it actually happens. We won't know until it actually happens. Okay. So hold your frequencies up. That, you know, can't stop, won't stop. Know that there isn't anything they can do to deter that. Because twins, we are the pole shift. We are the shift. We are literally the shift. When we come and we conjoin together, we cause the flip. So when that conjunction is big for us. And the conjunction is big for everyone, not just the twins. But that conjunction in March, remember the event? The event happens in March. So the event is going to happen. And how that will affect humanity, we will only see. So just everyone watch out for March 22nd, or from March 11th to the 22nd, rather to the 23rd. So just watch the conjunction, because that's a big conjunction coming up. And how that shows up, we will know. I can't vet it out because we haven't gotten there yet. We'll just see. Okay. Let's pay attention to that. So anyway, Susan, you're already twinning. Yes, you're here. Yeah, you're twinning already. So, what should we look for when these, Willy Wonkas dip out? So let me give you some times to note when they're leaving. When they implement quarantine and then martial law, that means that the majority of your Willy Wonka officials have left the building. Elvis has left the building. When that happens, I'm telling you, because they're already setting up shop. They got their own quarantine centers. They're trying to set it up. When they set up shop, that means that they are dipping out. Okay? They're bouncing. They're out of here. They're gone. All right? When they're gone, that means that there is going to be a level of control that is going to cause ripples. Now, mind you, Arizona, you already heard they're trying to come for, remember they did in Virginia? They're coming for your arms. Did you see the law that just passed? And I was surprised. I shouldn't be surprised it was Democrats. You saw the law? They're taking all assault rifles. You won't be able to have a shotgun. Did you hear about that? JW was talking about that. I didn't listen to the whole feed because I just want to hear. Did you hear about that? Listen, they don't want you being able to protect yourself. Look what they doing to the Chinois. They can't even protect themselves. The woman was in her house and they broke her door down. She said she wasn't going nowhere. She was throwing things at him. So she's safe in her house, corona free. And they're jumping in her house, a whole bunch of grown biobot Borgs jump in her house, and she's throwing stuff because she don't have no weapons. She don't have any weapons. So I'm just saying, they trying to take your stuff. Giving you heads up, Arizona. I told you that whole thing in Virginia, they slipped in a law over there. They want to make sure you're not able to protect yourself. So as you know, I always let you know, be mindful and do you. Make sure you are capable of protecting your family. I'm not inciting war. I'm not inciting for you to get weapons of mass destruction. I'm telling you to be legal. But you do you. Understand that. Look at the law. Make sure you look at the law that they just did. I can't vet it out. I would have to read it to you. They just did it. And that also lets you know what their plans are. Please put a like on a video if you're coming in the room. Let me do it. ASMR. I know you like when I have my cherries. My mate just bought me new cherries. He got me cherries yesterday. That's when you know he loves me. I was like, if he loves you, he should feed you. If your mate loves you, they should feed you. I feed him all the time. Anyway. Wait, I didn't take my step. Hold on. Please put a like on a video if you come in the house. I said corny ASMR. They got those. You ever see those microphones they have? What do they do? Like, oh, I love those frozen cherries. You got me cherries. I say it's so good. Wait, listen to this. How do they get those things? You ever see those, you know, those ASMR videos? They got those high pitch, microphones. Can you hear that? I don't know if you hear that. So I'm sorry. I apologize. Listen, I'm excited about the pole shift. I know. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, everyone was like, oh, upset. Why? If you got a soul, why are you upset? You get another avatar. If this avatar leaves, you get another one. It's like trying on a new suit. I make sure I keep my avatar okay, though, because I plan to be here for 83 years, 84 if I'm lucky. Okay, I'm planning to be here in my good mind, good spirit, and I'm going to be here for my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. I'm going to be here. Okay, I know this. I already saw the post-pole shift, and it is beautiful. It's different. It is different. It is very different. Because I remember seeing it years ago. I think I told you. I don't know if I told you on the first video I ever did, but remember I did it on, I remember I talked about it, and it's the same thing. I'm on top of this high cliff with a whole bunch of people. That's how I knew to create this Exodus. I mean, the sanctuary. I knew to create the sanctuary. I knew I would create something like that from years ago. And then I'm on top of this high cliff. And there's this beautiful like waterfalls, but unnatural waterfalls. So that should let you know that we're about to live in a water world. The waterfall was so big, it took up the whole wall on the other side. It was so beautiful. And it was like mini rainbows. Like rainbows. You ever see waterfalls? Like they create these rainbows, but they were so defined, meaning that we must have had another sun. I didn't see the other sun, but because remember, rainfalls are like the refracted light. So it makes me think that the other suns were already fully there, because the way the rainbows were bowing and reflective, I'm just assuming. I didn't look up at the sky in that when I saw it, but the rainbows were plentiful, and I was lying on a hammock and I was so happy. And I remember thinking in my mind at the time, I was like, this is what I had waited for. I remember thinking that, like, this is, and then on the other side, because that was the mountain I was there, I was like on a hammock. On the other side, I saw people just like walking around, and they had like natural stuff they were wearing, like, not like burlap, but kind of like natural fibers. So I don't know if we made clothes out of coconuts. I don't know what we're doing, or maybe hemp, but we were wearing like natural clothes, and everybody looked so happy. And I could see the little ones playing. It was such a beautiful, that's why when I tell you about the post-pole shift, I already saw it. It is amazing. It is beautiful. The terrain is different. Like I said, I think there's like 2 or 3 suns fully there, because we're going back to a binary system. But that waterfall was a natural. Like I've never seen it. I love waterfalls. Many of you know that's my fetish. I love, love, love waterfalls. That's like my thing. And maybe I love waterfalls because maybe subconsciously I know that's what I see in the future. But this whole wall, the whole wall was a waterfall. I've never seen anything like that. Nothing that big. It was a huge waterfall. I was on top of a cliff, and these beautiful rainbows, fully seen, like little rainbows were all on that waterfall. It was so beautiful. And the babies, I love babies. The children were playing. You could hear them, and people were in like burlap or something. Not burlap, but like a material that was like natural. And they were walking around. I don't think people had shoes. I don't think so, because I remember them walking around thinking this is I was like, this is what I wanted. It's crazy. I love this. Anyway, so it's beautiful. So if you are thinking that the world is going to be AI, and this is why what happened to the Chinois had to happen. You know why? Because they are Borgs. They were going to come and do a global takeover. And as you see, look what the Chinois did to their own people. We wouldn't have wanted that world. We would have, would you have, I didn't even personally, I don't know about you guys, but I personally didn't know the Chinois were like that. Like the Chinois Willy Wonkas. I don't know if you knew that, but I didn't know they were like that. Like we won't be wearing bras. We'll have our breasts and master shot. So all the haters, if you don't like our bosoms, because all of our sea stars, I can almost predict this. I know our sea stars. We don't like brassieres. We won't be wearing brassieres. We will have breasts out fully. We won't have perverted men. They will be happy to be around us. We will be able to have our bosoms around without hindrance, have them to the sun and the sky. We won't have to wear things that hinder our bodies, waist shapers, or whatever the heck those are. We'll be natural. It was so beautiful. It was, like I said, I hate bras, and people are like, well, why do you hate brassieres? It bothers me. I'm really busty, and I love when I wear shirt. You know, when you wear the dresses, like the cloth. I love wearing cloths, like just letting my bosoms out free and just wearing my saranges. I wear them. They're so beautiful. When I go to the beach, I don't really get dressed up. Like, and in my island, we're allowed to go breast free, bare breasted. Like, that's not natural to me. And men aren't trying to harass us with our bosoms because they're natural men. Healthy men are not obsessed with this. Like, if you notice, the sea stars are never bothered by my bosoms. The only time a sea star gets bothered is if she has issues with herself. Most of us know that this is natural. I should look more motherly, not perverted to you. I should look more like a mother than I should like a porn star. The problem is you had women getting breast implants trying to look like porn stars, and they ruined the natural look of a natural woman. So what they did is they perverted the look of being a motherly creature. Because you looking at me shouldn't make you more sexually allured. It should make me feel more motherly to you. Because bosoms are a representation of mothership. That's all that is. And that's why it used to bug me out. And that's why in all the previous videos, when I was back in the days, you used to see my shoulders. Because I'd always wear like, crop tops, and everybody thought I was naked. So what I started to do is show you my frontal, and then people were like, oh my gosh, she's busty. It's one of the reasons I only showed my shoulders, because I'm a busty babs, and I'm grateful. I love my body shape. Thinner or thicker, I appreciate my body shape. I do. And I appreciate my bosoms, and I love to feed my babies with my bosoms. That's what the intent was. These bosoms fed my babies well, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful to have this disposition. So, I only say this, I know I'm sidebarring. I only say this that, I think in the future, we'll have a better concept, because whether you're busty or small, beautiful little nipples or whatever, you're beautiful the way you are. We're not supposed to cover our bosoms. We aren't. We're supposed to let them free, because the sun is supposed to touch our nipples. That's how we get nutrition too. And also it's good for the babies. So when our breasts are actually out in the sun, the solar panels, they pull in energy for us and they clean our wombs. We don't even clean our wombs anymore. We're supposed to let our nipples touch the sun. This is what's crazy. Like when I lie in the sun and I let them touch the sun, my gosh, I feel better. Like I feel like I'm healed. They don't want us to have the healing of our breasts. And that's a gift, sea stars. We're supposed to let them touch the sun. It isn't healthy for us to wear brassieres and cover them. Look at the warmer region women. Look at all the indigenous women. They didn't cover their bosoms, and they had healthy wombs, and they were able to give birth to babies for long periods of time. So I'm hoping, my hope is pole shift. All the bras that we burn, we won't have to wear another brassiere again. The patriarchy won't insert that, because we'll be back to our natural selves. So post-pole shift, we will be back to our sun, solar beaming with our tetas, with our beautiful breasts, and our babies will benefit from it. We can nurse and men are not going to fall over because they see 50 other women nursing their babies. They'll see so many boobies that they won't even care anymore. You expose little boys who grew up in Creole houses with boobies all over, they don't have that same obsession. It's men whose mothers, taboo the breasts. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. So the new earth is beautiful, family. And we do, let me state this, let me put this out there. I want these dirty bastards to leave. Let's keep it real. Whether they exodus through time portals, through vortexes, through jump rooms, we want them gone. They aren't matching the frequency of the planet. Mother Tiamat is raising her frequency. They aren't allotted here. They won't even feel comfortable here. That's why they want to leave anyway. If they felt comfortable here, they would stake it out. They aren't natural here. So they're going to they're going to leave. They're going to leave. And that's a good thing. We want beings here who are cohesive with the earth, who are healthy with nature, who want healthiness with our children. We will get rid of all the pedophiles, all these pedophiles that are hurting babies, all these cruel men that hurt, all these men, those biobots over there with the geoengineered T virus. It's getting rid of those chaotic males who hurt women, who hurt those babies in the womb. We're freeing ourselves from that. So in and itself, if this video did anything else, at least let it be known that I'm okay. And I hope that you are. Us ridding, whether they leave of their own on their own accord or not, whether the planet rids of them or they leave on their own, I'm grateful that we will live in a place where each one of your babies will be safe again. I want your children and my children safe. I do. I want them to have a healthy life. I want us to actually be able to have our own centers where we teach our own children not only things that would be helpful as far as learning different languages, but metaphysics, sacred geometry. I want them to learn Eastern movement like Qigong, feng shui. I want them to be able to nurture and know how to learn herbalism and naturopathic medicine. I want them to know how to heal themselves. This is the world that I want, and I will be okay ushering in. That's what I'm saying. I may share this video with you talking about their exodus and the trauma that they do, all this dirt that they do. But at the end of the day, is it negative that they're leaving? What would we care? The only time we really should care is if these bastards are still here hurting our planet and being disrespectful to children and animals. That's the only time we should care. But if they leave, a good riddance, bounce. I rebuke them all. Leave the planet. All these materialistic people who aren't cohesive with nature, that are harmful to themselves, that are, and also we got to be careful about the drugs right now. Be careful for all you engaging in medical marijuana, medical chief or dispensary chief, because that was created at a time to make you more susceptible for limitations. So if you know people who are doing a lot of chiefing right now, especially artificial chief, please try to convince them or try to wean them off, because they won't be able to permeate into the higher frequency because they have entities attached to them via the frequency of the drug they're interfacing with. So if you aren't growing chief yourself from heirloom seeds, you should be, if you're not drinking it out of tea or anything like that, then I would just say try to wean yourself off. So allow yourself to permeate and to level yourself up frequency wise, because if you got entities heavying up your auric field, because those entities attached to your auric field and they heavy you up. So when you try to level up, it's almost like somebody you ever in the ocean and someone's drowning or someone's not good swimmer, so they hold on to your shoulders, and then you're normally a really good swimmer, but they're holding you down and you almost feel like you're drowning. That's what drinking and drugs does to you. That's what drinking and drugs does to you. It hampers your system and allows beings to hold you down so you aren't ever to level up. And I'm not judging you. Let's clean it up. I know it's going to take time. That's what I'm saying. Fasting every once in a while, like I do with coffee. Coffee's not to the same degree, but it does hinder you. So just clear it off. Do whatever you have to do. Just take a little moment, try to clear. If you're having problems, I know we have some chiefers on here who have an addiction to it. Talk to some of our chiefers on here who are able to kick the habit a little bit. So talk to them. They're really good at that. They're really good at helping you through it, because a lot of times the reason why you chief a lot and your addiction is maybe because there's a soul wound that hasn't been healed. Something that maybe it helps you to sleep from all the craziness. So let's find alternative ways. If you're a chiefer, ashwagandha is really good. Try ashwagandha to chill you out a little bit. Magnesium, calcium a little bit. So try other things that would assist you so that you aren't being attached by lower level entities. We talked about the gray death, this new drug that they geoengineered that I personally think is extraterrestrial. They have all these drugs. Why would you create a drug that's 10,000 times stronger than morphine? Who can even tolerate a drug like that? Let's talk about that. What kind of beings would require a drug that does that? Like morphine in itself, to those who are sensitive, are just as hard as on your system. Who can even take that? Who can even tolerate that kind of drug? So as I said to all the mummies and daddies and cousins and abuelas on here, be careful with the little people. We talked about the gloves yesterday. Make sure you aren't touching, because we have 3-year-olds. We have mommies on here with little people, little people. If you're in the city, if you're in, the Big Apple, or you're in Detroit, or you're in Chicago, or you're in LA, or you're in, what's another big city? Other big cities. Watch what the little ones pick up off the ground, because little ones are always intrigued. They're so curious. Watch what the little ones touch. Okay. So if the little one sees something on the ground, make sure you aren't letting them pick everything up, because it's gray. It's very permeable. It's very absorbable with the skin, and it can get them sick or kill them. Okay, so I'm not making you paranoid. I'm just making you proactive. Because if you didn't know, no. Because even the officers who were finding this new drug were in shock. They were in shock. Okay, so fentanyl. It's mixed with fentanyl. Thank you. It's fentanyl mixed with what was it? Fentanyl mixed with something else. I think I told you the other day. Fentanyl mixed with, what was it cut with? Methamphetamines with fentanyl, right? Is that what it's called? Your friends died from fentanyl? Oh, I'm so sorry, my love. I'm sorry. It's heroin. Oh, it's heroin mixed. Okay, it's heroin mixed with fentanyl. I'm so sorry. We have a lot of people who had people have passed away. You know what's crazy? Back in the days, like when the crack epidemic came out, no one died. There were people who were high, yeah, but they came back from it. So it's crazy to me. Like I used to see people who are crackheads who came back from it. You know, heads from other drugs, they used to come back from it. Acid heads, some of them came back from it. But now the drugs that they have now are killing people. Like that's crazy to me, because back in the days it was like people got high and then they recovered and they were fine. They were like, you know, natural, healthy citizens later on. But it seems like whatever they're creating now, Atlanta, anyone who has babies in Atlanta. So just be mindful. I say us as adults, we can be more mindful. But for the little ones, I'm always very concerned with the little people. So make sure you just watch the babies, just what they touch. And also give a heads up to your children. I don't know where you guys are, but you know, they're making chief with like gummy bears, lollipops, putting, what is that called? THC in these candies. Why would you make drugs out of candy? Number one, like what? You're adult. Like why are you eating gummy bears? Like make it like a wine glass or something like adult kind of leisurely thing. Why are you making that out of candies? Because children are eating it and dying. Okay. I told you they gave me a chocolate and I didn't know what it was. And I was lifted for 5 hours. I wasn't good. That's crazy. I don't take anything. They gave me one little chocolate slither. It's called Colorado candy. I didn't know. Gave me one little chocolate slither and I was gone for like 5 hours. And it's not cool. That isn't something you should do. If you're chiefing, you as high as you chief for that, as long as you chief. So if you chief, you only high for that. You're not high for like 5 hours. Those are synthetics. Why would you want to be like that for 5 hours? I think that's crazy. So just be careful with that, family. I don't know. Maybe it's a culture. Maybe I'm a little old fashioned. I don't know. Maybe I'm old fashioned. I don't know if maybe that's the case, but I think that's crazy. And be careful with people who have addictions right now, because again, their endocrine system is limited and they have demonics on their auric field. Okay. Cause when I go to the store, I told you, once you saw Whole Foods starting to sell wine, no, beer, because they always sell wine. Once you saw Whole Foods starting to sell beer, I knew it was done. So if someone remember, wine has sulfur. It's why I don't mess with wine. Wine has sulfur. So if you're a wino, big up to all my winos over here. Listen, I have my nieces. Listen, I got girlfriends who love their wine. Listen, wine has demons on it. Wine is spirits. Listen, we all have addictions here. We all have addictions here in this matrix. So I'm talking to the choir now. There's no judgment. Look, let me take a sip for the haters. Please put a like on the video as you're in the room. I appreciate it. If you put a like, it usually stays up a little longer, and it makes YouTube know that my videos are valid enough to keep up. Just be careful from people who can't not drink. My mother taught me that. She said, this is my mother's advice when I was young. She said, make sure that you make sure you choose someone. Try to stay away from choosing someone that can't not drink. Listen to what she said. Can't not drink. Or can't not drink. Okay, that's what she said. Yeah, I got to remember exactly how she said it. She said can't not drink. So meaning that there's people who have a demon on them from the behavior of drinking all the time. And the demon will always require them. And also post pole shift, you don't want to have that kind of addiction. You will be miserable in your bunkers or your little spaces or in the room with a lot of children. You won't be happy. So make sure that if you have an addiction, we all know when we have addictions. I know what I'm addicted to when I fast. When I fast, if I get a headache, remember that coffee is mostly decaf. I have 2 regular shots and mostly decaf. The rest is decaf. I only do that because I don't do high, and that's coffee. I shouldn't even do the decaf, but I do mostly decaf. But when I fast is when I know I have a problem. So when you fast, you know if you have an addiction to anything. Okay, so if you're chiefing every day, that's a problem, because chiefing is meant to, not even chiefing, drinking, chief, it's a herb. And we talked about doing herbs too much. What's the point of you doing it? Then you're doing it for recreation. Okay, it should be for healing. It's meant to heal. If you're smoking cigarettes every day or cigars every day, that isn't healthy. Okay, you know this. We all have addictions. Get up on it. Let me just state this. Pre-pole shift, when everything hits the ground and you sitting there in quarantine in your house staked out, you won't want to be in a house with somebody with an addiction, and you darn skippy don't want to go through withdrawal. That is the worst. We've done this prepper. We did prepper preview. I did a prepper preview back when I used to hold prepper parties. I did a prepper preview. And what we did is prepper preview is like when you sit, we did a 48 hours sitting in space, closed space without anything. And what happens with your prepper preview, you see what bothers you the most. So some people with prepper preview, it was like they had a problem not having phones or access to social media. It bothered them. It just bothered them not having access to technology. So that was something they wrote down, because I did prepper preview. So you see what bothers you. So they would write down problems with not having access to others or to social media. Okay, so they wrote that down. Another one had a problem. She was a coffee head. Now, she was a coffee head more than I. I only drink that, and it's mostly decaf, but she has to drink coffee all the time. So she actually went through bad withdrawal. And actually, she got really bad. I'm gonna too much information, but she's okay with it. She got really bad diarrhea. I'm sorry for anyone on here. She had loose stool because of it. So she had a hard time. She was probably, her and another girlfriend who chiefs all the time, they had a really tough time. It was 48 hours. No, was it 70? Did I do what I do? I did 40. I only did 48 hours. I did a prepper preview. I should do it. I should actually have, if we weren't so close to quarantine, I should have had us do a prepper. I should probably done something like an event, like something like, I do the conferences. I should have done a prepper preview. I never thought to do that. I did it only with my friends and my family. Okay, so prepper preview is like you sit for 48 hours or 72 hours. Some people do it 72 hours and you sit. So she had diarrhea, loose stool, one. She was bad. She had a headache. She didn't want to talk to anyone. She was cursing people out. We had to do it because I made sure we were locked up. The husbands were okay with it. Big up to the husbands. All the husbands let us do it. They locked us up. They like the hubbies. It was only for the women. They locked us up and we couldn't get out. So it was perfect. I wanted to make sure we didn't have an option to leave. So we were in bunker mode. It was 48 hours prepper preview. They locked us up. She couldn't leave. She was cursing us out. When I told her to calm up, she was like, "Shut the frick up. Shut up." We all have it on video. We were laughing about it after the fact, but she was done. Like, she was done. So all this to say, she cursed me out. She was like, "I'm sick of your stupid ideas." She was like, "This is crazy. It's never going to happen." She told me like 2 weeks ago, she's so grateful that we did it, because now she's seeing how everything's happening. But I tell you, she had a hard time. It was just coffee. Could you imagine if it was alcohol? Okay, so she was like that. The other girlfriend who was a smoker, a chiefer, she got dizzy. She got dizzy and she got nauseous from not being able to chief. She's a chiefer. So she usually chiefs like a little bit a day. She got nauseous and dizzy. Okay, so she had that. So we all wrote down what issues we had with the addictions and tough time. My biggest thing was the closed space. I didn't like the closed space. So mine was like, I don't really have addictions to anything because I fast a lot. So I'll get over those things quicker. But I didn't like the closed space at all. That bothered me the most. Like not being able to get out, that was probably my biggest issue. So yeah, highly claustrophobic. I didn't like the tight space. Also, we used the porta potty. We used a potty, because I had a potty and so on. So we had to use that. We did good sanitation wise, because you learn how to do this. We didn't have doors. The husbands locked us up. All the husbands locked us up for 48 hours and they were told strict instructions, do not let us out. Now, if there was an emergency, like someone was having a convulsion and so on, we had a secret code. So there was a CB radio and only time they would let us out is if the secret code. And I was the only one who knew it because I was the only one who knew it. So they wouldn't have the code. So that was the way that we were able to actually be in the scenario without trying to get out. So it was a great experience. Listen, my girlfriends, I'm so grateful they trust me, but I wanted to give them, because I'm a prepper, and I wanted to give them the experience of being in lockdown and see how they did. We did good with sanitation. The bathroom issue is probably a big deal. So you got to try to work with that. Because remember, when systems go down, there's no sanitation. There's no bathrooms. There's no toilets. You got to work with what you got. And if you're in a closed space and there aren't any toilets, like inside plumbing, you got to start to learn ways to flush out water, where you put your, if a woman has her menses, what are the protocols for keeping things sanitary? Because most of the time what happens a lot of times, sanitation is the reason why people get sick. Lack of sanitation, healthy hygiene. Okay. I had wipes. We did a good job. As far as that. The main thing was the addictions. Okay. The main issue I found in my prepper preview was addictions. So I say this all to say to you. You see the celebrities dipping out. You see Willy Wonka and his League of Doom jumping out of jump rooms into the other timelines. You have to work on those. Very much so. Because we in those times. And I saw the future's beautiful. But how we get to that future, remember that wall of water was not natural. You've never seen anything like I haven't seen any. And I've gone all over the world to visit waterfalls. I've been all over the world. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Central America, South America. I've been all over the Caribbean. I've been outside of. Partially like the Middle East. I've been all over for waterfalls. I've been everywhere. And I've never seen a waterfall wall look like that ever. So it means that we're going into a water world. That's why I told you, I made that video years ago. We're going to a water world. All those, because remember the planet was tropical. It was a water world. It was not, those ice caps weren't natural. So they're melting. And now the ice caps actually have sinkholes. So we're entering the time when the water is going to not recede. It's going to rise. And because of that, you got to be, pole shift is just the axis is going to shift. And the crust is kind of like, goes across the land masses will move. So that, that water world, like, it's going to be interesting. So I remember I told you, make right with water. Jemmy Ja is going to have home court advantage. Okay. Anybody who knows Mommy Wata, all the they going to have home court advantage based on the fact that we're going back to those times. So, just, get it together. And I may, if we get a chance, you know what I decided, maybe I'm going to try to do this. I don't know when. Maybe I'll do it when I go to Arizona. I don't know if I'll have a chance, because if we go into quarantine, if places are going into quarantine, I may not have a chance to do it. But if I do, I might have an event called Prepper Preview, and we'll do a Prepper Preview for everyone. Okay. So you'll come with me and we'll do like a Prepper Preview. So if I get a chance, I don't know that we'll able to do it. I'm probably too late to do that with you guys. If you could do it yourself, do it. But, if I get a chance, I may do a prepper preview where everyone comes to one location and we do a 72 hours or 48 hours. I think 72 hours. I personally did it with my friends 48 hours because I already knew they were going to flip out, and those are my friends. But for y'all are more down. So I think we should do 72 hours of a lockdown, and we'll see how we do. That's if everything doesn't fall apart. And I'll probably do it in Arizona because I got to go to Arizona anyway. So, look for that in the future. I think I would like to do that. I'll do a prepper preview because thinking about now, I was like, that would be a good usher into giving you comfort. Okay. You won't be able to bring weapons or anything. Zero weapons of mass destruction because y'all start falling apart. I do accept. Listen, my girlfriends abused me. I was called all kinds of M and F'ing. You M and F'ing like the Satan. Listen, Satan came out of one of my girlfriends. She was the exorcist. If her head could have spun around, if you see the video, it's so funny. Like, we sit and we make jokes about it. It's so funny. She was the exorcist. She was like, you M and F'ing. She was calling me names. She got rough with me. It's crazy. The demons were coming out. It was hilarious. It wasn't funny then. I just, because I knew what it was. I was prepped for it. They weren't ready for it. But for the 72-hour prepper preview, I'll do it more. But I'm going to have to check your bags. You ain't coming in there with knives and whatnot. Because when your demons are trying to leave, and when you're trying to leave, you will do anything to leave. You aren't going to be able to leave. Let me put this out there. If you come into a prepper preview with me and you're going to do this, you won't be able to leave. So I have to make sure you don't have any weapons on you. I have to make sure your mind is right. Because when you're in close proximity with people and it's in a very tight situation where you're uncomfortable and you don't have access to those comforts that you normally used to, then you start acting out of sorts. And I got to make sure that it's safe. So I'm not going to let people who are like quantified as like, super soldiers. If you look a little crazy and you look like you got demons all on you, you won't be able to attend. I'm not doing that. And I won't put the safety of anybody else in that situation because people get hostile when they have addictions and their demons start getting rowdy, like bowdy. You know what I'm saying? They start flipping out and so on. I'm gonna have to woman handle you, and I can hold my own, but I'm gonna have to choke you out. So if you want to sign up for FleurBrun to choke you out, I'll do it. If you start acting crazy, I'm gonna choke you out until you calm the heck down. And that's the kind. Don't come to the preview if you ain't about that life. It's better be safe than sorry, you darn Skippy. People start losing their minds. Yeah, because the big thing with me is I didn't like the closed space. I was getting sweats. With me, I got, one of my things that I wrote down is I had cold sweats. I started sweat. Like when I get nervous, I started sweat. I start going to cold sweats because I didn't like the closed space. So I had to go somewhere in my mind. So I've learned to conquer those issues that would show up at that time. You know what I mean? I showed up. So, and also what we did is we held hands together. We talked to each other. We kind of brought each other out of our traumas or our uncomfortability. So we did it together. It was really good. And they really appreciate it now. Now they understand why I did it with them because I love them. I love my girlfriends. I love them, love them, love them. I want them well. And back in the days, I was a super prepper. And the number one thing that I wanted for them, for my friends and my family, is to be safe. And I love them so much. I only wanted the best for them. So, you can imagine FleurBrun, if you're like my closest friend, I love you like anything. I'm so protective of my girlfriends. I love them like, I told you, the only difference between my mate that I sleep with and my girlfriends is sleeping with them. I love my girlfriends like anything. I'm so in love with them. They're so beautiful. And I wanted them safe. So they did a good job. It was tough, but they did a good job. So we'll do that. Check out FleurBrun's Cookout, Showdown. Could you imagine? I'll choke someone out. If you start impeding peanut, I'm not going to hurt you. You're going to live afterwards, but I'm going to put you to sleep. That's what my mate is masterful at that. He knows how to put people to sleep. I'll put you to sleep real quick. WW FleurBrun. I'm strong too. I'll put you to sleep real quick and make you relax. Because once you start getting in that mode, you get a little wild. The demons want to come out. Demons want to come out and play. Imagine demons jumping out of people's bodies because you didn't have your wand and spirits. What? The sleeper hold. Y'all know what that is. The demons start popping out when you normally get your wine. Because I know more of the sea stars do this. Sea stars like to have a glass of wine every night. And you think it's okay because you haven't had to stop that. But when we go into that mode in 72 hours of lockdown and you aren't able to have your glass of wine, which you've been accustomed to for the last 6 to 7 years, you be shocked how it'll affect your body. You be really shocked out of how that will impede on your mental status. So that's what I'm saying, family. When we did it, it's very important for you. I would prefer you do it now. Test yourself. It's harder for you to do it on your own because you always know you have it out. That's why I did a prepper preview, because in that state, when we're together, there's no out. Like I told the husbands, you aren't allowed to get us out. There is nothing that we should do other than someone having a seizure, someone having something going on with them physiologically that can't be remedied. You have to be in lockdown where there's no out. And you have to do it in that way, because the demons can't come out if they know you can get out. You know what I mean? If every time you say, oh, I can't do it, screw this, oh, you're illegally, you're going to sign a waiver saying you can't leave, because that's how you learn yourself. Being alone with yourself, being alone with your demons, that's necessary. That's how you learn yourself. A lot of people are never alone with themselves. They always have buffers or vices that disallow for them actually going within. The best way to learn yourself is to be within. And if you haven't done that, whenever you're in a close proximity, that's why I say to you, y'all need to get up on it and get right with your demons. Because when you go into quarantine, and it's Willy Wonka quarantine, remember, it's a little different. Willy Wonka quarantine is going to be something different. What happens when he comes into your house and tries to get you out? What will you do? Like that woman was throwing things. She didn't care that her life was going to be lost. What would you do? So I'm just saying, you have to think of all case scenarios and be very mindful of how different scenarios could play out. And if you understand that in yourself, you will always master everything. And remember, once you're in a frequency of self-awareness, things won't come at you that you can't handle. The more heightened in awareness you are, the more that you can handle anything and everything that's thrown at you. It's like being the master gamer. We got our video gamers on here. Master gamer. All you master gamers, your master video gamers, y'all get to the point where you so leveled up in the game that there isn't anything that could come for you in the game. Do you know what I mean? There isn't anything. They'll throw a zombie, 50 million zombies, you got it. You know how to dip. You know how to dip back if they come too much. You know how to confront them. You know what you need to confront them. You know how to pacify yourself, make yourself invisible. This is something that we have to learn, but you only learn these things by being self-aware. That's why you got to keep in heightened self-awareness. When they leave is when you know it's time for us to show up. The show begins. It's okay. Nothing happened. My phone died. So I'm going to end it because I'm not going to be able to save the video. So listen. Grateful for everyone joining me today. It just turned off. My phone is dead. Like it's on 2%. It's going to cut off again. I'm okay. I'm fine. It's going to cut off. Thank you for joining me again today for this conversation. I'm so grateful. Make sure you put a like on the video before you end. It was beautiful. Everything's fine. My phone just died because I've been on here forever. So the batteries just died. But I got to end it before it actually ends. It's on 2%. So I love you. Join me again, and maybe I'll be tonight on Instagram. All right? Love you, family. Be well. Peace. And be prepared.